Are you ready to rewind? Take a nostalgia-filled ride back to a simpler time. It's Acid Wash Memories, a retro pop culture celebration. And now your hosts, Joe Murata and Michael Quinn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 110 of Acid Wash Memories, a retro pop culture celebration. Today, we are talking about baked goods. My name is Joe Murata, and getting out of the oven here with me is Michael Quinn. How you doing there, Michael?
Howdy ho. Baked goods. This is going to be a fun one.
This will be. You might want to say howdy ho ho.
Ho 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 ho
ho ho.
Yodels.
Yeah, folks, thank you for ring-dinging on over here for Acid Wash Memories, a retro pop culture celebration. This hopefully will not be a half-baked episode, Michael Quinn. But if this happens to be your first time, there are 109 other episodes available. Where, Quinn?
In the archives.
In the archives. But we've had this one in the cooking for a while here. We were talking about
this. It's been baking, yeah.
It's been baking in the oven, yes.
Stop.
You know, normally, Quinn, we say we're a light history podcast.
We do.
But we're not always.
Not always. Sometimes we just want to talk about shit.
Sometimes we just want to talk about food. You know, this has happened over the course of the show, just stuff in general. And so today is more of like a light refreshment type of show. This is not going to be intense. What we're going to be talking about is various baked goods.
It's important, Joe.
The sweet kind, I want to be clear. We're not talking about like pizza or like casseroles.
No.
You know what I mean? Or bread.
No. Everyone knows that what you mean when you say baked goods.
Yeah, we're talking about your various pastries and maybe the name brand ones too. You know,
the name brands.
Debbie of some
most
kind.
Most importantly,
right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna be going through
maybe reminisce about local bakeries and
things
stuff like that.
Yeah, and that is what we will be doing in this episode. So if you're into that, great. And you can also follow us on Twitter at AWM Podcast and join our group on Facebook, which is Acid Wash Memories. The other thing I want to say for those of you that do listen to this in real time, like this is the newest episode out. Real. We will not be here next week. This is a pre-planned hiatus for next week, okay? Nothing suddenly came up or anything. This is planned. We will be back hopefully in 2 weeks if you listen to these again in real time, okay?
Does anyone do that?
Like everyone, Quinn.
Oh, really?
Most people.
People like episodically listen to this?
Oh, yeah. They like listen when it comes out. Remember they comment on it?
I feel like these episodes are timeless, Joe.
Well, that is why we don't say the date generally, and we try to like stay away from the radio version that we did with our old show.
I see.
Where we tried to stay current. This is not current. This is old.
Yes, this is old and timeless.
That's the whole point of the show. But you know what else is old and timeless? Baked goods.
Yes.
So, folks, we're just going to want to hear your memories here. There's no real serious point of this episode other than Quinn had some cookies one day, and he's like, I had these cookies. He's like, we should do an episode on, like cookies or something. And I'm like, or maybe I said cookies. You're like, no, just baked goods.
Baked goods. You can't just one cookie brand. Like, it's like,
many.
Let's do an entire episode on Chips Ahoy or something. Like, I think it would be over in 5 minutes.
It probably would. But you know what's interesting? First on the list here, cookies. So these are also known, we're talking about if you're in the UK, what you guys call biscuits.
What? A biscuit's different than a cookie.
Well, over here in the United States of America.
But are we the weird ones? We have a distinction. That seems like an add-on. Like it's better.
But they invented English.
They did.
We perfected it.
Hello, chaps. Oi, mate, I'm not sure why you Americans call a biscuit a cookie. But that should be the least of your problems, yeah? Just had a sip of me tea. Watching the footy on the telly, right? Take a guess at what I'm going to do later. Go to sleep, you prat. Oh, and one more thing. Fish and chips and biscuits.
No, but we're talking about what we call a cookie. You might, I don't know what you call them in fucking Australia, like a doodle bug or whatever you do over there. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is we're talking about the soft things that usually have chocolate chips in them or oatmeal
raisin. Like a chocolate chip cookie.
Or biscuit, I guess, if you want to be weird. Now, there's a couple of brands I wanted to single out here. So Keebler's got some good ones.
Oh, yeah, Keebler.
Because the elves make them.
Well, I mean, nobody really makes them. It's the elves.
It's just the elves.
That's the canon, at least, of the product.
Rats! Folks still don't believe in elves. I'll prove we exist. I'll blast our elf-shaped cookies with fudge. And then, real Butterfinger filling! Yeah! Now, do you believe?
New EL Fudge Butterfinger Blasted Sandwich Cookies.
Now, E.L. Fudge is one of their big ones. Those are like the sandwich cookies.
Now, did E.L. Fudge work there? Is he like a person?
No.
They named the cookie out of him?
It's not like R.L. Stein.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I literally thought it was named after like the guy. Like, yeah, E.L. Fudge, him.
You know what, Quinn? You would think that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say. And they also have their regular chocolate chip cookie is branded under Chips Deluxe.
Rainbow Chips Deluxe from Keebler.
Chips Deluxe is basically the competitor to Nabisco's Chips Ahoy.
Right, but Chips Deluxe, I mean, I feel like Chips Ahoy kind of took over the market, if you ask me, personally.
To me, when I think of a store-bought chocolate chip cookie, I think Chips Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy, 1,000 chips delicious, Nabisco.
Chips Ahoy, and what's the other one?
Pepperidge Farm makes some.
Yeah, when I think of chocolate chip cookies, I think of like Famous Amos and Chips Ahoy, and like there's like other people, Joe.
I didn't grow up with Famous Amos. I'm not going to lie to you.
So honestly, my memories of Famous Amos.
I mean, I know them, but
actually, you know what's funny about that? First of all, I don't like them as much because they're like too dry or some
I don't like
shit.
the dry.
But at my school, at the after-school program, a lot of times they would get Famous Amos rather than Chips Ahoy. Like, Chips Ahoy was, like, special.
Chips Ahoy, to me, at almost 40 years old, Quinn, is still special. Now, I got to say, there's two varieties. I mean, there's multiple, but there's the hard.
Right.
And there's the chewy.
Chewy Chips Ahoy is...
Holy shit.
Oh. So that's what prompted me bringing this up in the first place.
Yes.
So I was like, for whatever freaking reason, one night, I was literally like, I need cookies, like, now. Like, and I was like, does Uber Eats do that?
Oh, God.
Like, and I was like, yes, they do. And therefore, Chips Ahoy, Chewy Chips Ahoy, right at my doorstep. It was fantastic.
Now, let me ask you a question. Is that all you got?
No.
Okay.
They have like a $15 limit. You can't just like order like a $6 Chips Ahoy carton. They won't do that by itself.
You got other essentials at the
I
same
had
time.
to.
Okay,
yeah.
just double checking there. Yeah, I got to say, for whatever reason, Quinn, when it comes to a chocolate chip cuckoo, all right, I much prefer it to be chewy and soft. I cannot abide by, like, you bite into it and there's crumbs already and it breaks.
I think what this comes from is
need
because
milk.
I do not remember the chewy coming along till later. Now, my theory...
It was like the 80s or something.
My theory is that, you know how like people like chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream?
Yes.
I think the taste for that, where it's like softer, that's what people are hunting down. It's like cookie dough taste.
Either that or denture wearers. I'm not really sure. I think
it's just better because it also what happens is the chips are a little more gooey as well. So it's like it feels like it's melted or something.
It's supposed to be like just baked, right?
Yeah.
Jay Leno in the 80s had a great bit about this.
See, there's something real suspicious about these soft cookies. That's, you know, no, wait. Fresh cookies are soft, stale cookies are hard. We now live in this era of technology where these huge corporations are now able to make stale soft cookies. You know what I'm saying? They're just old cookies, somebody put soft stuff in. That's what annoys me. Come on, let's face it. You think these big companies, what do you think? They're pastry chefs, they're bakers, they're business people. They see somebody else with a soft cookie. Well, we need one too. Anybody got any ideas how we can come up with a soft cookie? Gee, I have an idea, boss. Why don't we use only the finest ingredients and bake them fresh every day? Who is this? Get the hell out of here, will you? Harrington, call Dow Chemical. See if they got a softening agent we can put in these cookies down.
Yeah, they must put some shit in it to like keep it that way, like
gum.
Yeah, like lacquer gum or whatever that
Xanthan gum.
Xanthan, yeah, whatever. I don't know the name of it, but
R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
All right.
Fudge, get out of here.
I got to ask you this too, though. I know you don't like milk.
Yeah.
But are you a milk and cookies kind of guy?
Oh, I
at
definitely
least?
would do that.
You'll
yeah.
dunk.
So here's the thing:
You're
is
a
when you
dunker?
dunk a chocolate chip cookie into milk, guess what it becomes?
Chocolate milk?
Which is
chocolate chip
awesome.
Milk? Yeah,
like,
it is good.
Who the hell doesn't like chocolate milk?
That's where I'll have the hard cookies.
Yeah.
I'll dunk it into a milk.
When you went to school,
Yes.
you know how they like, you know when you were like younger and they would have like snack break or whatever and they would like cart in, who the hell chose the regular milk? Because I was always like chocolate, I was like beeline to the chocolate milk. Like, what are you, insane?
We did that in kindergarten, first grade. I think everyone except maybe like one kid always picked the chocolate milk.
Well, actually, because, you know, what's funny, it's like that ended in kindergarten, first grade, but during regular school hours. But if you had to stay after, they actually like did it up to fifth grade. Like they were like
milk service?
No, because they felt obligated to like feed you after school.
Right.
They would give you like milk and a snack or something.
Okay. I want to move on to another Nabisco brand because this is a pretty famous cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about Famous Amos. The Oreo.
Oreo, unlock the magic.
The Oreo, yes.
Your thoughts?
Fantastic cookie. One of the top tier. Like, it's definitely in the like pantheon of cookies.
It's in the pantheon. It's on the Rushmore, I think.
Yeah.
If Alyssa was here and we were doing a Rushmore.
Right.
Her. Hey, wait a minute. Where the hell is Alyssa? You're talking about feud. She should be here, by God. Fucking bullshit. Better than you two idiots.
Oreo was 1912, so when the Titanic was sinking, people were twisting off those Oreos and dunking them, right? The one thing, though, that some people don't realize is that it was inspired by and was a direct copy of Sunshine's Hydrox.
I'm a Hydrox cookie. Hydrox. Hydrox. Some kids have trouble remembering my name. I don't understand why. I mean, you like a creamy center? Here's a creamy center. Thick, delicious, creamy, creamy.
So Hydrox was weird because it existed. Does it still? Like, I remember having these and being like, what the heck?
So Hydrox, which predated Oreo by 4 years,
right,
was never as successful, and thus people of our generation and probably younger thought of it as the ripoff.
Yeah,
it's actually the original.
It was very confusing because this Hydrox would come in and like it literally was identical. Like, there was, like, nothing different other than the logo on it.
Pretty much the logo, although they say, I don't remember what they taste like exactly. They say
taste
that
exactly the same.
They say that, like, Hydrox is a little less sweet. I don't remember.
Never tell the difference between the two.
I know. So they are not around anymore, but they were around for a while ago, like a little while ago.
They were definitely around in the 90s.
Revived.
I definitely remember those.
Well, they were initially discontinued in 1996, but they were brought back, 10 years ago? But I think it was on a limited basis or something like that.
No, I remember, like, vividly these existed.
Yeah. So Hydrox, folks, let us know. And maybe they are still around, but if they are, I don't think I've seen them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they're available elsewhere. Let us know if you've had Hydrox recently and tell us where you live.
Yeah, now, what did you think of the variation? Maybe I'm skipping ahead here in this style of cookie, but the Vienna Finger or whatever, which is like the vanilla and like version.
I like Vienna Fingers. That's a Keebler product. Those are really good.
Amazing.
You know what they are, Quinn? Because these are, if you've never had them, folks, they're basically like
They're like reverse Oreos, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, because it's like a vanilla cookie.
Yeah, and reverse in the flavor department, but it's still like an Oreo, essentially.
Yeah, except it's like cylindrical shaped or whatever, or penis shaped. I don't know what it is, but these are really good, and these are dunkable, too.
These are very dunkable. Well, they're more easy to dunk because they're longer. You don't get your finger like all full of milk.
Exactly. I'll just let that one marinate.
Yeah.
Quinn, whether it's a Vienna Finger or whether it's an Oreo or even a Hydroxy, if you will, that's the street name for them.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah. Could you clarify for me the way you eat these? Are you a pull apart type or are you a bite into?
Oreo pull apart. Why? Because it's easier.
Do you scrape the icing off with your teeth?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, me too. Yeah.
Vienna Fingers, on the other hand, is when I was a kid, I would like try to pull them apart, but I always noticed they were more firmly, like, it was like hard. It would like snap in half.
Yeah,
like, it would be like, what the heck?
You're not supposed to take it apart.
Like, Vienna Fingers are actively like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, they're like really mad about it. If you like,
this is not the design.
Yeah.
Guy. Like,
it's almost like they stuck something in there to be like, these kids ain't taking them apart. Like, F that. They can split them in half, but they ain't taking them apart.
I like that. Can we also talk about the double stuff Oreos? And now they have like the most stuff.
So I remember when this came about. Right? This was a 90s thing.
This
where
was 90s.
Like where they were like, because it's the extreme, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay. Like, and this to me was the first phase of like extreme Oreos where it was like, oh, now we've doubled the like stuff in the middle or whatever, right? And like, it was like
Dan Cortez wasn't there.
The one thing that I did enjoy about them is they were much easier to pull apart.
Oh my goodness.
Because there was just like more stuff in between.
More cream.
And then when you used your teeth to like take, oh my God.
So satisfying.
Yeah,
right?
It was just like eating it off a cake.
Now I remember another this is the last one I want to talk about. There's a lot of variations, folks. You can let us know your favorite Oreo variation, but another one that I remember being a Christmas only thing for a few years, and it was white chocolate covered Oreos.
They still got them.
They still do.
I got them recently for like something.
And now they do it with just like fudge covered as well.
That to me is that's like the natural progression.
Right.
Obviously, it's like, oh, we'll just put chocolate on it, right?
Yeah.
Instead.
They do the white also still.
The white chocolate ones, they're so good.
That was a revelation.
That shit is amazing.
I want to say like 95 or something.
I remember when my mother first brought them home and she was like, I can't even believe this.
They're
it was like so we both were like addicted to them.
Yes, delicious.
Like I very specifically like have a memory of my mom like discovering them. It was like every week in our house. Like from that point forward, it was like we can't get enough of this shit.
I love it. No, good.
Yeah.
An Oreo cookie inside the fudge?
Let's move on to briefly here. I just want to discuss another cookie maker. Mrs. Fields makes some good cookies.
Mrs. Fields, yeah. Now, does Mrs. Fields? Who makes this? Right? I can never remember, but it's
Mrs. Fields.
It's the chocolate chip cookie. I don't know if it's Mrs. Fields, but it has like M&Ms instead of chips.
Oh, that's Keebler.
Keebler does that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But remember, it's not technically M&Ms.
Yeah, it's like whatever imitation bullshit it is, but it's essentially just little M&Ms in it.
Yeah, you're thinking of Chips Deluxe. I think now they actually are branded finally with M&Ms. I think they got the license or whatever.
I mean, everyone knew. It was like unspoken.
Yeah, because they used to just be like these things that looked like M&Ms but didn't have the M on them.
Right, yeah.
I think
it looks like now they got the official...
Now they have the license.
The blessing of Mars Corporation.
Of Mars. Those are okay, but you know what? In all honesty, even though it sounded novel as a kid, the M&Ms were like too hard versus like a regular chocolate chip.
It was like you had to be in like a mood for those.
An angry mood.
Yeah, it was like, but they were good.
They were good. No, I agree.
Because I do remember after school, sometimes they would have those, and I was like, oh my god, like it was like a privilege when they had those ones.
They were. I liked them. And can we also talk about? I guess Mrs. Fields. To roll back to her. They go for that like very Marie Calendar of cookies, right? Like this is home baked. Mrs. Fields
did it
herself
always bother
made.
you, Marie Calendar, where it was like this is homemade. It's like literally off the back of a truck. Like you would like see it.
That didn't bother me, but I will say this: Marie Calendar was a real person that had a real restaurant.
Oh yeah,
she is a real. So was Mrs. Fields was a real person as well.
Wow, she was young. She wasn't some like old lady. That's surprising to me.
No, folks, if you
I always just when I think of like a baker, like an old like a baker lady, I think of like a little old grandma, like that she's like cooking the cookies,
rightfully so,
but baking the cookies.
Folks, if you want to look up, this is your assignment. Look up Debbie Fields from Mrs. Fields. She's actually a very attractive young lady.
Yeah.
in her salad
in her
days.
day,
in her cookie days, I guess.
Well, now she's a little old lady cook.
See, it all worked out.
In my head canon now, she's just still there, but she's just gray haired, hair tied back.
She's still doing
baking it. Yeah.
The lady who baked it all isn't your snowy-haired grandmother. Deborah Fields just turned 26. It looks like she should be on a Vogue cover rather than baking up new ideas in her kitchen. A confirmed chocoholic, Mrs. Fields grew up in Oakland. 6 years ago, she met Randy Fields, an investment advisor. Obviously, he had the right last name for business, so they married, and he supported her initial store.
He was genuinely concerned about whether or not the cookies would be successful in the marketplace, but he believed in me.
I wonder how old she is. She was born in 56, so she will be 69 years old this year.
Wow,
yeah.
Look at that. Now she's the little old lady.
She's the little old lady. Moving right along here on this very different episode of Acid Wash Memories, we have to talk about this. They're seasonal Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought these up.
Ho! Pass the fucking thing means.
Those Samoans, like all those.
You mean like Tama?
Yeah, what is that? What they're called?
Yes,
What's the one
Samoas.
where it's like
Samoas.
it's like a circle, like an O. It has like a hole in the middle, and it's like got the coconut. And,
that's
like
them. Those are
caramel and stuff.
Those are Samoas.
Oh my goodness, Joe!
Yeah,
they had those. My friend bought them recently from the Girl Scouts, and these just never are not good.
No, those are very good. I love the peanut butter ones because you know me, I'm like a big peanut butter guy.
Right, yeah,
I love Thin Mints.
Yeah, Thin Mints.
Those, you can't beat Thin Mints, man.
Now, what I never understood about Girl Scout cookies was like, what is this like exclusive rights? Like, why can't you just get this shit all year? Like, it was like,
though.
I'm sure somebody did that endeavor, but it's not common.
Well, now you can just buy them directly from Girl Scouts.
Like all year?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to like wait?
Well, I don't know. Let's see if we can do it right now.
It's Girl Scout season now. See, this is a bad time to look.
That's true.
Oh, look, our local troop is selling them.
See, that's how you do it. You put in your zip code on girlscouts.org. So this is an instructional podcast. And you can,
this is like a revel. They'll just send them to your house?
Ships nationwide. So buy now. And yeah, look, Thin Mints, Caramel Delight.
Oh, send them right now.
I'm not doing it.
Girl Scouts,
put it on
send it.
I'll put it on the expense account.
Yeah.
Peanut butter powder. Yeah, vegetable. They're all there. They're all there except
you should just
for
get one of each.
Yeah, sure, Quinn. Let me just spend $66 right now on cookies.
It's not a bad investment.
All right, you can do it on your dime there, fella. Okay. Let's get out of the cookies and into just a very brief general discussion on a baked good, kind of like a palate cleanser, if you will. What do you think in general of muffins?
Oh, I love muffins.
You're a big fan of the muffin?
There used to be a place, I don't know if it's still in business, but My Favorite Muffin. You remember that place? It was like a chain.
Sounds like a 50s sitcom.
That was what it was called. It was called My Favorite Muffin.
I've heard of it. I've never
It had
been
like
there.
a 1950s kind of logo to it, but it was excellent.
I think they're going for My Favorite Martian, right?
I wonder if they're still in business, actually.
Why don't you look that up? Again, this is a dessert-based recreational podcast, folks. And if you were looking for some heavy analysis and hard-hitting action,
There's
we're
one
very sorry.
There's one in my town.
All right, well, you better go there.
I didn't even know about this.
You better swing by there. I do have to say,
they carry My Favorite Muffin. Like there's no way that this place has freestanding places anymore.
I wouldn't think so.
Very 90s.
What is your favorite muffin, Quinn?
I don't know. I usually just look at like whatever's on the baker's, like what they got, like and just pick.
So-
like it usually has berries in it of some kind.
Okay, see, I'm a big fan of the chocolate chip and the blueberry.
So this My Favorite Muffin place, Joe, they used to have like the reason why they were like different is because you could get all these like weird ass combinations, like berry chocolate and like stuff like that.
So like a boutique muffin shop, right?
Yeah, but it was still a chain weirdly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Question: when you eat a muffin, do you do it like most normal people and you hold the stump and you eat the top off and then you peel the thing off and you eat the stump? Or are you insane?
I hate to break it to you, but I usually peel the thing off and then I just try to bite it as much as I can. Like I'll do like a top bite and then I'll try to keep it even because it's just like I always notice that the stump tastes like shit when it's the only thing left.
So you don't save the stump for last?
No, because
I'm a stump saver.
Well, I used to when I was a kid, but then I got the bright idea. I was like, oh, well, if I endure the stump with the top, it'll actually like make it less crappy.
Make
or
the
whatever.
stump more palatable.
Yeah, exactly.
And who could forget from Seinfeld, top of the muffin to you?
Do you really think we need the exclamation point? Because it's not top of the muffin to you.
No, it is.
Yeah, I mean that's where that comes from. That whole muffin top thing.
Yeah, with,
that, like nobody likes the stumps.
Littman.
Yeah.
Also, if anyone out there knows the Muffin Man,
Tell us where he is.
Let us know where he is. Related, the cousin of the muffin, Quinn. Your thoughts on the cupcake?
I was always like, I had a feeling of this is not much different than a muffin other than icing, and it's usually like
frosting,
for like kids' birthdays and shit.
That's what
Like,
I
it's
always.
like,
To this day, I still associate cupcakes with like a kid's birthday party,
right, exactly,
including my own kids.
Well, I think the reason it's associated is because for children, and you could probably attest this, it's probably easier for them to eat it, like than a piece of cake.
Yeah, this is true.
Because cake is because it's like a long slab, and it seems intimidating for a child. When you were a child, like a piece of cake looked huge.
It's ironic because you'd think it'd be a piece of cake.
Right.
Shut up.
The thing about cupcake in my mind that I thought versus muffins, because they're a very similar look, right? Is that muffins are a serious breakfast food and cupcakes are a dessert.
Oh yeah, they're for like I said, they're for parties.
It's a cake.
Now, do you remember
in a cup.
Do you remember those muffins that existed where they were either muffins or cupcakes? I don't know what they were called, but there was a bake company and it was like
6 in a bag.
No,
Oh.
they were like in a box and they were like tiny.
Oh, the tiny,
and they were
the
like
muffins?
chocolate
the
chip,
tiny little chocolate chip muffins.
Yeah,
Delicious.
yeah, and they were like bite sized, and you could just like eat them like they were like potato chips or something.
But
Like
they also have them in a bag. Little Debbie, who we'll talk about later, she has mini muffins.
Mini muffins, is that the name of them?
That's one of them.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a thing that like
it was almost like a black and white motif because it was chocolate chip,
I
and
know
it
what you
had
mean.
just a picture of all the little muffins
Yeah.
on it with a white background. You know what I'm talking
I do.
about?
I remember them. I like them. How about another famous baked good here? The donut.
Oh my, the donut.
Donuts. The donut.
I love donuts so much.
So do I. Big fan of donuts.
Big fan growing up. We used to go to the local donut shop, Mickey's Donuts.
On Ye local state highway.
Yeah. Loved it. It was like a tradition. My father would always get donuts like Saturday or Sunday morning. I forget which morning.
Because you stay there on the weekends, right?
Right. Well, even when I was little, before, since I was like itty bitty, he would always get donuts on the weekend. That was like his thing.
What's your favorite kind?
I always alternate. Like I had like a phase where I really liked jelly donuts.
I like jelly donuts.
Sometimes I just like the chocolate and with the chocolate jimmies on it, like the double chocolate, basically.
From Philadelphia.
Well, when it's donuts, it's jimmies. That's what I learned from my father.
See, I'm a big fan of sprinkles on a donut. Jimmy's if you're in Pennsylvania region.
I also like crawlers and
crawlers,
Boston cream,
Boston cream, Bavarian cream.
Yeah, like the thing about donuts that's funny to me is that when you're a kid, you're like super particular about your donuts. Like, I only eat this donut, right? But then when you're an adult, you realize like, wow, every single one of them is freaking amazing.
Just give me all the donuts.
Just give me like a variety pack, and then you finally understand your parents why when they would order from Dunkin' Donuts when you were a kid, they give me one of everything. Like that, my dad would always do that.
Yeah, because why the hell not? Like sour
a dozen,
cream,
one of each.
Give me a French crawler. I don't give a shit. They're all good.
Just pick, or they'd go. I think the terminology was assorted, please.
Assorted.
Yeah, like
assorted. Now, here in the United States, and I guess for most of the world, the biggest donut proprietor is Dunkin' Donuts.
Time to make the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are always fresh. I made the donuts. We make them at least twice every day. Time to make the donuts.
I happen to go there. I don't get donuts every day. That would be very unhealthy of me. But I get my coffee there every day, so I look at the donuts.
But now the second always was Krispy Kreme as far as the chains was concerned, right?
Nowadays, yeah. I mean, there used to be like Mr. Donut. Dunkin' bought out a lot of people in the big donut takeover.
True, the donut wars.
Yeah, the donut wars
it
that
existed.
70s and 80s.
Like, here's the thing, is like in the 80s and even into the early to mid 90s, there was still a lot of, like, I'm not joking, like by us even, there was like, I want to say there was like 6 or 7 just independent donut shops.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
This was just a thing.
Yep.
They doubled as bakeries, but they were bakeries essentially that were open early.
Yeah.
They'd have their morning traffic, which was all donuts and coffee.
Yep.
And their afternoon traffic was people getting cakes and stuff for parties.
Yeah,
right?
and cupcakes, obviously.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but Krispy Kreme emerged more in our area, at least. I want to say like the mid to late 90s. They started to really like.
I forget. I think they're like a Midwest brand or something like that. They didn't start here.
No, they were newer to us. I know that like when we were growing up.
Because Dunkin's kind of, I think, started around here. I want to say
it probably did. Like Krispy Kreme has been around, just for the record, folks, for a long time, since like the 30s.
Yeah. I'm just saying it was regional, just like Dunkin' was.
Correct.
At first.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
We did not have them near us until I mean they went public in 2000.
Yeah, I remember it was like a big deal at the time, right? Because Dunkin' was already emerging as a force.
Yes,
and it was actually legit weird that like there was like even a competitor coming around. And if I recall, Joe, tell me if you have this memory.
Okay.
I swear in one of our like textbooks, and it was like some kind of example problem of like a company growing, or like it was like math or some shit, and it was like and Krispy Kreme was like inserted into it. They even had like a picture of their logo and everything. Like I was like in hindsight, I wonder if like Krispy Kreme was trying to like product place into fucking textbooks so kids would be like, I want Krispy Kreme, right?
I'd be lying if I said I remembered that.
You don't remember that? Because I remember like a math problem that involved Krispy Kreme TM, like literally in the fucking textbook.
Really?
Like, yes.
Okay. I do want to also bring up another chain of donuts. It's much smaller, and I don't know how wide-reaching this one is. Again, folks, this is not like this is not an intensive history program here. But Duck Donuts. Have you ever had Duck Donuts?
I remember them, but I don't ever remember having it.
So Duck Donuts is kind of like my favorite muffin, but for donuts, where they have...
Okay, it's like a more locally thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to like have the local flair, but they have like, different varieties. They're supposed to stand out from Dunkin' Donuts rather than compete with, if that makes sense.
You know what stands out about donuts to me? They have a very Northeast New York vibe to them, and I can never put together why. Like maybe it's because of like the old trope of like the police officer like on the beat kind of thing. Like I would always associate them with like cities or something because of just like, oh, they're a fast on the go like breakfast. Like, you know what I mean?
It's probably, in all seriousness, we have a prevalent, and I'm not saying nowhere else has bakeries, so please don't take this out of context. There's a lot of bakeries in North Jersey and New York City.
Right.
Like a lot of bakeries.
And there's like a very, very strong like breakfast business that is like thriving here. Because people go to work, if they're going to commute to the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
These people are going when it's dark out in the morning.
Yes.
And they're stopping at these places on the way to get either a breakfast sandwich, a donut, a muffin, whatever the hell they want, right?
Yes.
And this is just like very like tightly associated with our area growing up.
Not only that, though,
a bagel,
but I think the donut was, when it came to the U.S., it was in New York, is where it was first
makes sense,
brought in by the Dutch.
Yeah,
New Amsterdam. It might have even been still. Like
it's
a
almost
long time
German
ago.
or something. I don't know.
Well, Dutch, it's Dutch, I think. But again, we could go on and on about donuts, folks. I love donuts, but I don't want to go nuts for donuts.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Do you like brownies?
They're all right.
I don't mean the funny kind, folks.
Brownies are like...
Is it too much chocolate for you?
Yeah, it's just chocolate on top of chocolate. I almost found them boring as a kid. I don't know how else to explain
That's
it.
unacceptable.
Just because it was like, there were so many other options. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I do. Do you like an end piece or do you like the center? Like if it's
I
homemade?
like the center because it's like softer.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of like the crusty edge of a brownie.
And that's what always bothered me too, is because brownies always had like a crust top, like a burnt whatever that was on the top.
Or the side. Yeah,
or
I know
on the
what you
side,
mean.
yeah. Well, no matter what, even if you went in the center, they was on the
true.
top what was crusty.
I'm sure there are big fans of the crust out there that are listening that are team crust all the way. But we're team center. We're centrist, Quinn.
Yeah.
I liked the because I like the centerpieces. Also,
Nobody
because
cares.
Few pastries I wanted to single out here because I love pastries. I'm Italian. I'm 100% Italian. I grew up eating stuff from like friggin' local bakeries.
Like cannolis.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a baked good, but yeah, I love cannolis. How about an apple turnover or some type of turnover?
Oh,
you like
yeah,
those?
good stuff.
Flaky-
Yeah, and when I used to go to Delicious Orchards,
sure,
and I still do. I mean, it's fantastic. If you're ever in the New Jersey area, go to Delicious Orchards. They have baked goods, but
and they're sponsoring today's program.
Any of their apple anything, is like incredible. Apple pie, turnovers,
A
whatever,
strudel of some kind.
apple cider donuts.
Those are really good.
Their apple cider in general, which isn't even a baked good, but
No, but their apple cider is delicious. What about a cinnamon roll?
Fantastic.
That is one of my favorite things.
Cinnamon rolls are great.
I could eat those with no pants on. And of course, Cinnabon capitalized on that.
What do you think? I have integrity? I'm buying a Cinnabon right now. I'm buying a Cinnabon at the airport that I arrived at.
Also, the one where like toaster strudel, which was essentially like it was kind of it had that texture of a cinnamon roll.
Toaster strudel was a brilliant idea by Pillsbury.
Incredible.
They're like
it was like a revelation when it came. Like I remember this shit was in my house, and my mom, because like again, quick breakfast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like she had like prepared something for me because it's like, oh, you put it in the toaster, but also you have to put the stuff on it.
Well,
right?
putting the icing on is like, if you're a kid, maybe even if you're an adult, it's like one of the most fun things, right? These were meant to compete with Pop-Tarts.
Right.
And they're like, look, no, this shit is better than a fucking Pop-Tart.
Oh, it was better. It was definitely, it was like I said, it was a revelation because it was like, I ate a lot of Pop-Tarts as a kid.
Oh,
As
an adult, too.
No joke.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Pop-Tart was like, it was like a standard.
Sure.
But then the toaster strudel came out, and it was like, it just like blew my mind.
Yes.
Like I was like, wait a sec, it doesn't have to be like all hard or whatever. Like it's like, this is amazing.
Now, could I ask you, did you try to get the icing on like they do in the picture?
So at first I used to do that when it first came out, but then I got lazy and I started using like a knife and just like
spreading it
because I was like, oh, more.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
more. Now, another baked good I want to talk about is the good old croissant. Do you like a croissant?
Love a croissant.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah,
I do
my
too.
goodness, yeah.
A flaky, nice, buttery croissant.
Especially when it's like really like straight out of the oven and it's very soft still.
Yep, and Pillsbury did crescent rolls, which is like their version of it.
Right, but I mean, like I said, we did have the benefit of growing up with a lot of bakeries, so you could get those around here. Like you could just get them.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah, like a fresh croissant. Or an eclair. Do you like an eclair?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now, one of my favorite things is Danish. I just love Danish, like a raspberry and cheese Danish or something like that.
Good shit.
Will go nuts for that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever want to win me over, folks, bring me a raspberry Danish.
What about a cheesecake? Does that count? Good?
While we're talking about desserts, that's probably
baked.
One of my favorite that's one of my favorite things is cheesecake.
Right, yeah,
I
cheesecake
love
is,
cheesecake.
oh my God, yeah. Especially if you get the stuff from Philadelphia.
Absolutely. I'm like the Golden Girls sitting around eating cheesecake.
Yeah, cheesecake is great.
We can't drink plain milk.
Why not?
It's disgusting. If we're going to have milk, we need cookies.
Hell, if I'm going to have cookies, I'm going to have cheesecake.
Is there cheesecake?
Chocolate cheesecake.
You bought chocolate cheesecake?
For an emergency.
What kind of emergency? Nuclear war?
Depression.
I also like a Linzer Tort. That is something that maybe is not as common to some people. A Linzer Tort is one of my favorites. And I'm talking about like the dessert kind, not the pie. Like the one that looks like a donut with the raspberry in the middle. It's got the powdered sugar on it.
Yeah.
I really like those. In general, I guess pie is a baked good.
Yeah. And again, delicious orchards for the pies too. They have every pie in the world. I mean, that, again, growing up, their bake section was just unbelievable.
I like a good apple pie.
Yeah.
Homemade apple pie.
I like trying all the different berries, like raspberry, blueberry,
boysenberry.
I'll go anything. I'll give it all a shot.
Blueberry, blackberry, blackberry, boysenberry, boysenberry, huckleberry, huckleberry, raspberry, raspberry, strawberry, strawberry, cranberry, peach.
I also really like pumpkin pie.
Fantastic. Yeah, but pumpkin pie is very seasonal to me. It's very like
it is.
Of Thanksgiving and Christmas kind of time period.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'd be remiss, and so would Gorilla Monsoon, if I did not mention peanut butter pie.
Peanut butter pie.
Peanut butter pie, did you say, Rod?
Yeah.
When
I feel like that's like a made up.
It's a real thing.
No, I know it's real. It's just like it's a later pie thing. It's not like old school.
It's probably not old school. Now, you don't like peanut butter much, do you?
No, I like peanut butter.
Do you eat it like you don't eat peanut butter, do you? I don't.
Usually, I put it on something if I'm having it.
Yeah, but okay, I didn't.
But I moved to like almond butter and stuff now because of obviously like trying to not eat like an idiot. You know, it's better for you.
Except for when you Uber Eats, the cookies to your house.
Well,
we're all out exceptions.
That's a snack.
It's fine. Yeah. That's true. That's a snack time.
Yeah.
I do love peanut butter pie.
But not as much as me. Oh boy, do I love me some peanut butter pie. Love it. It's incredible. It's bananas. It's pandemonium. It's good too.
There's like 7,000 cakes, so I just figured we'd say like cake in general I really like.
Right.
I don't know besides cheesecake what my favorite is. I like angel food cake.
Angel food is good.
Right?
Yeah.
I like sponge cake.
Who does it?
Listen, do you think I take everything everybody offers me? You offered me sponge cake yesterday. Then I take it. You said you didn't want it. Of course I wanted it. I love sponge cake. And who the hell said you couldn't have it? I mean, what the hell do I care whether you have a piece of sponge cake?
I feel like we're getting to the section here with the cakes,
Yes,
right?
we're getting into cake territory.
Now, cakes. This was kind of like, I feel like we still are of the era where there's that old Sebastian Maniscalco joke of your mother always having like some cake for reasons in case somebody came over or some shit.
Come on, come in, we'll have some cake. Whatever that bit is, yeah.
Like one person comes to your house, it's like a big event.
Get the coffee.
Yeah.
And they'd stay for hours.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a really funny bit.
And you'd ask him, what the hell are you doing here? And the person would be like, I was in the neighborhood. I thought I might stop by, see how the kids are doing. You're like, oh, come on in. We're gonna have some cake. Your mother had a little Entenmann's. Maybe some Sara Lee crumble cake. Just in case company came over. She made an announcement when she bought it. She's like, listen, nobody touch this cake. This is for company only. Those crap muffins, those are for you people.
I grew up with, Italian grandparents, obviously,
Right.
and my mom's Italian. There was always, just like you, Quinn, some kind of dessert in reserve.
Baked good.
There was,
Yeah.
though. This is real.
When I think of even the term baked goods, I always think of cake in reserve. Like
Yes.
there's like a spot in the fridge, just
Yeah.
like this is where the cake goes, and no one's allowed to touch it unless there's guests.
It's for company.
Yeah, it's for company. Yes, exactly.
No,
Does your wife keep a cake like almost like
Unfortunately, we
instinctively,
don't.
like for keeping a home kind of thing?
The only problem is with my two kids, that thing would not last. That would be being eaten behind
you
the couch
can't
when we're
figure out
not
how
looking.
to hide it. Maybe get a weird box to put them in. Like it's
A weird box. This is not cake, right?
Yeah,
Put that in the fridge.
like just label it whatever food they don't like. Like this is broccoli
Yeah,
or something.
broccoli.
Like a box of broccoli.
Now you give me good ideas.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the name brand people. Now this is those of you listening along here and following very intently, we talked about in general terms the different varieties. Now we're talking about the commercial aspect of it, the things that you can find in most stores here in these United States.
By the thing you most remember about cakes and baked
other
goods
baked
in
goods.
general. Yes.
So Little Debbie makes a bunch of things that are fondly remembered and still
Yes.
eaten by adults, obviously. Really named after a real person, Debbie McKee, who was 4 years old when they were founded in 1960. It was her parents, O.D. and Ruth McKee, that founded the company, O.D.
Little Debbie was one of those brands that, staple of the lunch table.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there'd always be a kid with a Little Debbie
Something or other.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Little Debbie-isms is the Cosmic Brownie. I don't know why.
I wonder why. That's a weird one to point out.
I think it's because of the texture and the little, jimmies on it, Quinn, they're very, very tasty.
Huh.
But
I would have never even thought of that one.
Really?
Yeah, no.
That's the one I think of first. Well, one of the ones I think of first. They also have
More of a Hostess guy.
You're a Hostess guy?
Yeah.
Little Debbie also has the zebra cakes. Do you know those?
Yeah, those are good.
The Swiss cake rolls, the oatmeal cream pie, the Nutty Bar. Now, you mentioned Hostess. We can talk about Hostess. You want to talk about Hostess?
Yes, Hostess, most known for Twinkies.
Yes. So the Twinkie, which originally, Quinn, had banana cream in it until there was a
Really?
banana issue in the 40s or some era.
Weird.
And they've switched it to regular cream.
I mean, Twinkies are such a staple. I mean, there's jokes about them in movies. Like if you microwave it, it'll explode and all this nonsense.
Yeah, and there's these false rumors that it has an unlimited shelf life. It doesn't. This has been tested, but people still repeat this.
I don't think Hostess ever said they did.
No, they said they don't.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like most baked goods, hilariously, are very perishable.
Yes.
But I think what these brands do in my head is they're such a symbol for post-war.
Yeah.
Look at all of this shit we have.
Yep.
We can just ship cakes and stuff like this so fast that we can get it to the store shelves fresh before it goes stale, and people can take them home, and they have preservatives in them, so you can save them for a week or some shit.
Exactly.
Right?
And kids, Hostess Twinkies are one of the most delicious desserts we've ever had here in Dutyville. And they come 2 in a package, 2 big ones.
Oh, yes, you're so right, Hottie. Look here, kids. You know, these Hostess Twinkies are really terrific. The delicious sponge cake fingers just melt in your mouth like cotton candy. And see here. Inside every Hostess Twinkie, there's a smooth cream filling that's really out of this world.
Oh, who am I kidding? They taste like shit. Awful. A true duty. Right, Howdy? Don't answer that, Howdy. Kids, don't tell your parents about this episode, okay? I used a bad word. You should never do that. Fuck.
A lot of the products that came out, Hostess has been around a long time.
Because before this, your mother had to bake this shit or something, right? Or
yes, or your grandmother or an aunt or somebody. And Hostess has been around since right before, right after World War I. But they really picked up steam in the 40s, in the 50s, and the 60s.
And I remember my grandmother even be kind of almost a snob about this stuff.
I understand that because if you think about what those people of that
they're from
generation grew up
before
with,
that time,
exactly. But Hostess does the ring dings. They do the ho-hos, which is basically the same thing as Little Debbie's Swiss rolls.
Right.
They're very, very similar. Obviously, the Twinkie is the most famous Hostess product.
Right.
But they also do various cakes and pies. And
they got such a variety, Hostess.
Snowballs.
There's a lot of things that you don't even realize is a Hostess product.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of things that I forget are actually them.
Right, yeah. It's just they just have so much stuff. It's ridiculous.
They have their own cupcakes.
They have their own donuts, I think, right?
I don't know if they have donuts. They have cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, jumbo donuts.
Okay. They have donuts.
Honey buns.
Yep, coffee cake.
Yeah, coffee cake.
I love coffee cake.
There's somebody else that's better at that, though.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Drake's. So Drake's, who is now owned by Little Debbie, the same people that own Little Debbie.
I was thinking of somebody else.
Okay. Okay, we'll get to them too.
Yeah.
Drake's is famous for their coffee cake, if you're a Seinfeld fan.
And all indications are he does not like Drake's coffee cake.
He said that.
He was screaming about it all night. How it's too sweet and it falls apart when you eat it.
Devil dogs, ring dings, yodels.
Right. So here's the thing with Drake's is I always thought they were like very interchangeable with Hostess. In fact,
they're similar.
Like a Devil Dog, for example.
Yes.
If you told me that was a Hostess product, I would believe you.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they were just like Drake's and Hostess are like so similar. It's
so
ridiculous.
Similar. Well, and Drake's also has yodels, which are the same thing as ho-hos.
Yeah. They're like I don't know if they're the imitation. I don't know who came first, but either way, like Devil Dogs is probably their number one thing that I remember seeing.
Drake's came first, but I don't know their product line. How
I
that
hate
rolled
Drake's
out.
logo, like that.
It's
like,
shitty.
Like duck or whatever that thing is.
You know who founded it? Newman E. Drake.
Was he a duck?
That's just quackers, Quinn, in Harlem, New York.
Yankee Doodles. Like, I'll say this about Drake's is that they're like definitely like more like the names are way more playful and goofy.
Devil Dog, Ring Ding, yeah, it is better.
They're just the goofiest one of them all. Ring Dings.
Ring Dings.
Ring ding, wish I had a ring ding. Sam, what's a ring ding? It's a chocolate cake. Yeah? And in the middle, there's lots of creamy stuff. Yeah? And it has chocolate frosting all the way around it. Even on the bottom? Yeah, on the bottom, too.
We would not be doing our job as proud Northeasterners, Quinn, if we did not talk about, in my opinionation,
yes,
the undisputed king.
Yes.
Of grocery store-bought baked goods.
Baked good king.
I am talking about Entenmann's.
Entenmann's.
At Entenmann's, we make our fresh baked goods a lot like you do when you bake. And that's why you can't get better fresh baked goods than Entenmann's. Unless you bake.
Entenmann's was classy. Entenmann's made everything. Like all the stuff we're talking about from like the crappiest of crap.
The little kid shit. Right?
To like... like classy cakes, right?
They're like full up fucking cakes that you can just buy.
So what the deal with this company is that they are so embedded in the Northeast to the point of
they were
like
founded.
If you see a movie that takes place in the Northeast, if there's even a grocery store scene, you will see the Entenmann's aisle. Like you will see it.
Absolutely.
Like I was watching Married with the Mob the other day.
Of course you were.
Entenmann's aisle. Like it was like, and it was just like a common thing. Like I remember so many times my mother would be, "You want Entenmann's?"
People always ask me, "Whoopi, what's your favorite Entenmann's?" Like I'm gonna tell them. If I said it was the ultimate crumb cake, they go flying off the shelf and there'd be none for me. So I'd never tell anybody what my favorite is, ever.
I had Entenmann's in my house frequently because of my mom and my grandparents.
Yeah.
I think that Entenmann's nailed it with marketing because, like you said, they have this like classy logo.
Right.
They're
You
like
think
the
it's like-
Frasier of baked goods.
When I was a kid, because like I just didn't know. Again, I think it's all the logo. I thought that it was like some special shit. Like I was like, oh, this is like we spent money on this, right? It's like when you don't know money when you're a kid, but yeah, because and plus they would like they had so many different things. They had like donuts, those freaking donuts with the chocolate, like
okay, yeah. Can
whatever
we talk
those
about
are?
that in a second? Yeah, because I want to talk
freaking
about
awesome.
I want to talk about Entenmann's donuts here now, folks. If I am not sure when Entenmann's fully expanded. What I do know is this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what it is, you probably don't live in the U.S. I think it's all throughout the U.S. now.
Okay.
But I know that it took a while to get there, and it was regionalized here in the Northeast for a while.
Yeah, it very much has a... Again, I don't know why. It has a association with somebody with like a New York or New Jersey accent saying Entenmann's. Like
Entenmann's, you know.
Yeah.
And
you want some Entenmann's?
Want some Entenmann's? So we're going to talk about a little bit of their products here. Donut-wise, okay, they have rich frosted donuts, which is like the yellow cake on the inside.
Yeah, their donut variety is insane.
Yes.
Like they have so much crap.
Frosted.
A delectable donut topped with delicious crumbs.
Glorious glazed.
Plain, powdered, sweet cinnamon.
They have like 3-packs, 4-packs.
Yeah.
The crumb-topped ones I've always loved.
Yeah, so the crumbs, though, are like big. They look like they're like almost like croutons or something. Like it's like, but they're
true.
like cake crumbs.
They're incredible. I always like their cinnamon donut.
Right.
The
Their Devil's Food Crumb was also excellent
one's
because that
very
had like
good.
a frosting and it was chocolate on chocolate rather than vanilla on vanilla.
Yes.
Right? It was like, oof, that one was excellent.
They make bags of minis, like mini chocolates.
Their minis are like dangerous because like you just will like, if you're not careful, you could eat them all by yourself,
Oh my God,
like
absolutely.
easily.
I absolutely could.
Yeah.
They also make donut holes. Those are what Dunkin' Donuts calls munchkins,
But
obviously.
the best part is they use that their
frosting.
frosted chocolate donut. They have a hole of that, which
Yes.
you can't get that at a like a Dunkin' Donuts.
No, not
theirs
that
is
variety.
different. It's like the cake is chocolate. With them, it's like a frosting, like a hard
Covering
frosting.
the cake.
Yeah, like a dry frosting surrounding the cake.
Yeah, they have this. God, what's the word I'm looking for? Not fondant. Ganache, is it? It's.
I don't know what.
There's a word for what it is. Ganache.
But it's basically that frosting that it still has its shininess, but it isn't like when you touch it, it doesn't come off on your fingers.
Yeah, it's ganache, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
When
of.
it dries, it's basically like on there.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have, they have pumpkin donuts and apple cider, and their white powder donuts are my goodness.
Would you like a donut? A donut? A donut. This is what happens. This is how you maintain championship balance. Have a donut. Have a donut.
No. Donnie, please.
I can't think of like a bad thing that Entenmann's makes.
No, it's
and
all
then
good.
it goes up to like crumb cake, for example.
Yeah.
Like, there was like a rich tradition of like, do you want some coffee and Entenmann's? And you'd say
Yes.
Entenmann's, but it meant like crumb cake, like
Yeah.
with the coffee,
Yeah,
right?
crumb
it was
cake.
but I felt like the most generic Entenmann's thing was the crumb cake.
That's like their signature cake.
Yeah,
is the
that is
crumb
like,
cake.
it was like, you want some coffee and Entenmann's? Like, that's what you thought you were getting.
And it's delicious.
Right? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Now all their loaf cakes are good.
Right.
Their marble cake is good.
Right, the chocolate chip iced cake. Oh my goodness,
with
I
the little
love
crust
that
on top.
fucking thing was incredible.
Delicious.
Yeah.
They even have like a party cake for like little, the white
Right.
frosting and stuff with the sprinkles. They have tons.
They have like chocolate chip cookies. They got like freaking literally everything.
They do. They have pies. You can get like little pies. I don't
Right.
mean like full size pies, but like little snack pies. They have some delicious pastries, cinnamon buns, iced honey buns, cinnamon rolls, glazed honey buns. They have even freaking Danish, Quinn. They have Danish. They have raspberry and cheese Danish.
So, and here's the weirdest thing about Entenmann's, and I think this is part of like why they were such a success.
Yes.
Is you would think with this variety, right? Well, they definitely need like a store, right? Like they're a
Right.
bakery, right?
Right.
But I think what made them different is that they didn't have any store.
Nope.
But their presence in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, wherever the hell, grocery stores is an Entenmann's like aisle was like a true, like it was like the end of an aisle like that, like, and it ate up and it went around into the other two aisles. Like it was like they just had so much shit
Yes.
that like essentially they would like occupy their own space, and it was basically like people just knew like that's the Entenmann's section.
Yeah,
like they like it was weird if you went to a grocery store that did not have an Entenmann's section.
And I
right?
think, doesn't Seinfeld have a joke about this either in his stand-up or
It's
within
referenced.
the show?
Oh,
But
Entenmann's is referenced,
It's referenced, yeah.
But I know I've seen cake just like that.
Oh,
Entenmann's, yeah.
Entenmann's? From the supermarket?
Well, no, they're not really in the supermarket. Yeah, they got their own case at the end of the aisle.
Because it was it was more niche at the time, and it was like very local thing. But you're right, they never had their own store.
It was niche, but everywhere all at the same time. Like if you lived here, you couldn't like escape it. You
Right.
would even see the trucks around, like because they always were moving fucking shit everywhere.
That's true.
Like,
I've seen them in trucks plenty of times. They also sell in convenience stores like the little single serve stuff.
Yeah, like their tinier products that are just in like little plastic bags, like little muffins or whatever. Like they would, they'd get into like a local 7-Eleven and stuff.
And I will not lie, Wawa has like a bunch of their stuff, and a lot of times I'll just get like the Entenmann's raspberry Danish.
Yeah,
just the one little like mini. You know what I mean?
They're just
$2.
like known.
They're
Like,
delicious.
They're so good.
They are my favorite of all the.
And I feel like us talking about it, I feel bad if maybe you didn't have this because
We're very sorry.
Because I'm wondering if people are now like, wow, I gotta like get me some Entenmann's.
Yeah, you do. The
Yeah.
thing is you do.
You need to like once in your life experience Entenmann's.
I think so.
Like, and here's the thing:
I think that's fair, Quinn.
is I feel like we took it for granted as kids. Like
Right.
it was just like normal to have like something Entenmann's in the house at all times.
Yep.
But now, like nowadays, like it's probably like more rare even because I don't know if people like do that anymore where they always have like a crumb cake around just in case.
Folks, do you have cake in your house right now? Is it for company? Let us know.
For company.
For company.
Yes.
Now, I'm well aware that we have not talked about the art of baking, and that is a totally different conversation because I really have great respect for people that are very good at baking.
Absolutely.
It isn't, now again, most people can buy cake mix.
Right.
Put it in a bowl, mix. I don't mean that, but I mean there are some people. My grandmother was one that made stuff from scratch.
Start from the flour.
Literally, yeah, right. And I have a great respect for people that do that successfully because I can cook. I'm not a baker.
Yeah,
and
my grandmother used to be a hardcore baker as well. Like
same,
she would make all sorts of stuff
from scratch.
Yeah,
right.
Like all day, every day.
Yep.
Like
very grandma-like. Right. Yeah.
So like I said, you always envision little old lady
exactly
in front of the oven.
Not the vivacious Mrs. Fields.
Yeah.
So we're not really talking about that end of baking. We're talking about the goods, right? Whether they are store-bought, whether they are made at home, just the overall goods. And like I said, there was no terrific point to this program.
But I do think we did want to touch on Entenmann's a lot. Well, because that's like the number one thing I think of when I think of baked goods and like where we grew up.
Now, do you think I don't want to get too heavy here, but obviously food is very closely tied to people's memories, right? Do you think there is something to be said for the way it can still bring comfort, 30, 35 years after the fact?
Well, I think even what's weird, because we're talking about all these brands.
Right.
Even their logos, like, immediately, like, give me a memory of, like, oh, I remember eating Twinkies when I was a kid.
Sure.
Or like, oh, Entenmann's, I remember the crumb cake. We used to always...
Yeah.
There's guest over with coffee and crumb cake. Like, it's like, you would even just see the logos and you would like, there's like nostalgia just with them.
That's part of what I'm thinking is like, yeah, I'm with you. When I see Entenmann's, I'm like, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
But even when I have like a piece of, cheesecake or something like that, it's just something about desserts, man, make you feel good.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
And there's definitely a local flair with baked goods, in my opinion. I'm sure like especially like even in like European countries, like I bet you like, for example, like France, there's different baked goods that are more popular.
Oh,
like,
I'm
sure in America we have all the variety, but maybe people lean more towards the donuts here, for example.
Oh, we're big on donuts here.
Right? But like they might lean somewhere else in different locations, like like Britain and France and
crumpets.
Canada or anywhere where baked goods are very popular.
That's true. Over in England, I mean, they put like sheep in their pies and stuff like that.
Wow,
I don't know what
that's
they're
different,
doing.
yeah.
Shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Going
Richard.
on crumpets,
Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah.
Hi.
Nobody understands cricket, by the
Yeah,
way, because
yeah.
you got to know what a crumpet is.
Got to know what a crumpet is.
To understand cricket. Folks, like I said, this was meant to pass an hour of your day at work or whatever you're doing. There was no heavy point here. We want to know, though, what's your favorite baked good?
Yeah.
What do you do with an Oreo? Don't keep it clean, please.
Keep it clean. Very clean.
Do you like the end piece of a brownie like a weirdo, or do you like a centerpiece like Quinn and I, who are normal and completely
How do you eat
normal?
the muffins?
How do you eat muffins? Do you de-stump?
Yes.
Do you bite into the stump and the top like a psycho, like Quinn?
Have you had Entenmann's at all?
Yes, that's right. Have you ever had Entenmann's? Do you have Twinkies in your house? Those are tasty. I'm not putting down the Twinkie. They have a stigma.
Oh, yeah. No, Twinkies are fantastic.
Delicious, Quinn.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of cheesecake? We want to just talk desserts with you guys over on our Facebook group, okay?
This is dessert week.
It is. It's dessert week here at Acid Wash Memories.
Yeah.
And yes, we are going to dessert you next week. But don't worry, we will be back, as far as I understand, Quinn, in 2 weeks for something completely different. Until that time, we hope you found this to be a sweet episode. Thank you.
Mark Summers.
See how they've been baking up. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being with us here for episode 110. Can't believe we've done 109 good episodes. And then this one.
This was a good one.
We'll see you guys.
It's tasty.
It was. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for more Acid Washed Memories.
See ya.
Like what you heard? Be sure to leave a review and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We will see you next week.